What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Insomniac games, but not Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. You know, that game came out yesterday. It's old news, if you know what I'm talking about. No, in all honesty, well, look, I've played very, very little of Rift Apart, but I did want to make a video on something in that kind of dynamic, okay? So what I thought I would do is make the trifecta to my Sly Cooper video. So over this last week, we've made, I guess over the last 8 days, I made 2 other Sly Cooper videos. I want to talk about it again. Go ahead with the dislikes, go ahead with the reaching for straws, go ahead for the it's not going to happen, whatever you want to come at me with. We've already combated those, we've already talked about them. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but go ahead, leave it in the comments below. No, honestly, you know, this is, I guess you could even separate this, to be quite honest with you, from the Insomniac, you know, when they did Horizon, they did Uncharted 4, they did, Sly Cooper, and they did Sunset Overdrive. Even if you want to remove yourself from that, which I'm going to kind of do even in this video, I think it's fine. I think talking about Sly Cooper, if we want it to come back, okay, and we say, well, who could do a game like this, okay? Well, obviously, Sony's out there just making deals left and right. Microsoft is in the purchasing business, right? They're buying studios like there's no tomorrow, whereas Sony, they're not buying them. They're just saying, oh, you made a brand new studio. It's filled with all these veterans. Okay, your next game is PlayStation exclusive. Here's the money. That's their style, okay? So what I'm saying is, does it need to be Insomniac that makes the next Sly Cooper game or makes something Sly Cooper? No, it doesn't necessarily have. I mean, if you did a remaster, if you did a remake, really a remake is not even in Insomniac's wheelhouse, although they do everything else, so why not? Remaster, you know, that would be the easiest of the 3 things. Or a brand new Sly game, obviously that would be something as well. But I think, to be honest with you, while it doesn't need to be Insomniac, there's really probably not a better team out there to do it than Insomniac Games. So I'm going to cut myself off really quickly just to ask you guys, just to plead with you. If you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. Give this video a like, would definitely help me out. And by the way, we're in the middle of E3 time. That content starts later today, live streaming, or we'll be co-streaming Ubisoft show. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my second channel, Podcast Now Plus. I'm going to be having lots of E3 videos, and I do daily videos over there anyway on that channel, okay? Links in the description, or obviously you can just look it up over on YouTube. All right, now again, so look, I mean, it's hard to talk about the experience I've had with Ratchet and Clank because it's not much at all, but I think what you see from other people, what you've seen from, you know, whether you've seen just a little bit of gameplay or whether you've played it yourself, look, the game, I think, is unanimously at least liked, if not loved. I think a lot of people absolutely adore this game, and I think kind of the closing thoughts that people have with Insomniac and Ratchet and Clank is they nail it. They just know what they're doing. They did it again. You could talk about, like, you know, the Spider-Man situation, okay? And they crushed it with Ratchet and Clank. It's a good reminder of why we need PS5 only games, which I'll have a video. I want to play it a little bit more, but I'll have a video talking about that in the future. But look, going forward, what does Insomniac do next? Well, okay, it's, you know, saying I want their next game or the next thing they make, or, you know, how maybe I titled it, however I titled it, or however you may be thinking how I'm saying it, okay? I don't necessarily mean them as a whole, because we know that they do a lot of different things at one time. And I've said it before, and I'd love to know. I'd love somebody out there to ask, or for them to have just said it, which I don't believe they've said it. I want to know how many teams there are in Insomniac, because I feel like there's 2, but I want to believe there's more. There's like 3, because, you know, Spider-Man 2, I don't think just got started as soon as Miles ended, or at least I wouldn't want to believe that, but say that it did. Then they had the Miles team, which is also the Spider-Man team, and they had Ratchet and Clank. Okay, those are your 2 teams. Now, if they had Spider-Man working as well, it's possible they can do like 2.5 things at one time. I wouldn't go so far to say they can do 3, because I'm not sold on Miles and Spider-Man 2 having been in full-scale production at the exact same time. I don't necessarily believe that. I feel like you could have been warming up, you know, pre-production Spider-Man 2. So I would go on to say they can do like 2.5 things at one time. So basically what I'm saying is the loophole, or the thing you have to remember, is technically their next game is probably Spider-Man 2. And they do more than one thing at a time, okay? I personally believe the Ratchet and Clank team, this squad, this beautiful, beautiful squad that made Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, they should go on and make Sly. Again, it comes down to understanding the system, understanding the brand, understanding that style of a game. And, okay, Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper are not the exact same thing. And to be fair to, like, everybody, like you guys, and also these games, I haven't played Ratchet and Clank nearly as much as I've played Sly. I mean, I've played all 4 Sly games. Sly 2 and 3, I've beaten probably like 15 times each. I mean, I went insane. Ratchet and Clank, I have a lot less of a I've played several of the past games, but very little, and I've never really owned them. I would always play them at friends' houses. I did play 2016's version. I absolutely loved it, and now Rift Apart. Okay, so I relatively new, but really they're not that far apart. It's not like they were making The Witcher 3 and then or Cyberpunk, and then they went into Sly Cooper. Okay, actually, I mean, they're both kind of open worlds. I mean, you could I guess find a little thing there, but no, I mean, it's not a complete pivot. I mean, if you told, and I don't know how it would work, Sony goes to them, they pitch it themselves. If you go to them and say, okay, your next game is Sly Cooper, the art style is very similar, okay? The style of a game is very similar. It's just a couple extra characters, okay? They play a little bit different, but it really is similar. It's more similar than I never really put much thought into how closely related these two games are. There are differences, but I really do think if you told them to pivot to Sly, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Now, yeah, you could throw in the Monday thing when they tweeted out, all the Ratchet and Clank stuff, and they use Sly Cooper for that. I don't know if they're interested. I don't know if they're into Sly in general. Some of the people that I would say a lot, but I don't actually know the official number. Some of the people that made Sly Cooper are still in Sucker Punch. Now, okay, here's the deal. Is Insomniac the best case scenario of a team? Well, I think because of Ratchet and Clank, they almost are. I guess technically Sucker Punch would be the better of them, but I mean, Infamous, Ghost of Tsushima now, they're so far, they're not that far, but they're so far removed from Sly to ask them to go back. And I mean, okay, my dream scenario, and I said this when Ghost of Tsushima came out, is that I do think Sony wants a lot of their established first-party teams to be able to do more than one thing at a time, okay? You see Guerrilla Games most likely working on 2 things. Obviously, Insomniac. Naughty Dog kind of does. They really say that they don't, but they're actually lying because they most certainly are. The Last of Us remake and a multiplayer game. Those are 2 right there, and they're probably thinking about a 3rd one. So, they say they're only doing one thing at a time, but they're kind of lying. I think that's the plan with Sony Studios, is to make them, Sony Santa Monica is obviously working on 2 things, is to make them work on more than one. Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, the multiplayer is very awesome, but it's still only one thing. So I guess my dream would be Sucker Punch's second team. I'm kind of willing that into existence, by the way. They would come out and do a remake or do a brand new game. I mean, if you wanted the remake, you could go to Blue Point, but Blue Point is probably busy with a Metal Gear thing. I'd like them to do Resistance. They have a long list of games I'd kind of want them to remake, and not necessarily before Sly, but just in general. I want them to do so many things that they can't possibly do them all, at least right away. So, again, am I just rambling? Oh, absolutely. But this is part of that train to keep Sly Cooper going. I would like to take credit for being on that. I think I'm towards the front of it. I don't know if I'm the conductor, but I'm towards the front of it. I mean, I want to talk about Sly. I want people to hear about Sly Cooper. And sure, am I trying to will it into it? I'm not. This isn't clickbait. This isn't, I don't know. It's literally willing it into existence. I want it to be true. Is it true? Was the Funko for nothing? I truly don't believe so, but if you want to believe that, that's fine. I saw some people say, obviously Funkos don't always have to have a reason, but, again, the idea with Sly, I mean, somebody said, they had the Bloodborne character as a Funko, and obviously, but, that game came out in 2015. There's always talks of a remaster, which I do think one day will happen very soon. There's talks of a Bloodborne 2, which is less likely, right? But, that's in the news. Medieval was 2 years ago, or 2 years ago. So, Sly is so different, I would say, than all those other ones. Why the Funko Pop? Then Insomniac, yeah, were they having fun with it? Sure. But it does get you thinking. Sly, Ratchet and Clank, do it. Just do, I love Ratchet and Clank. I do. I love what they've done in the past 2 games. I want them to continue. It's amazing that this franchise, like, and I think they deserve it too, because I was gonna say, this is a franchise that actually has been around for decades, like, not as long, but like, Crash, Spyro. Now those two are back. Those two technically survived it. But you have Ratchet and Clank, which has survived the test of time. Jak and Daxter has not, right? Because they haven't, I mean, it's an amazing game, but they haven't brought it back. Sly has been dead. You know what I mean? So Ratchet and Clank, I'm happy for it. I love the fact that it's still around, and I want it to continue. I'm not saying just make Sly games now, don't make Ratchet and Clank ever again. No, but you can throw us a bone. You can make a Sly Cooper game and then make another Ratchet and Clank. We will wait patiently. Insomniac churns out games. I mean, they make games every like 3 or so years. We'll get a Ratchet and Clank game. I mean, it's been 5 years since the last Ratchet game, and if we have to wait 5 or 6 more years and you throw in a Sly game in between, I'm more than happy with that. Okay, so yeah, rambling, sure. Grasping for straws, sure. I don't really care. Again, leave your dislikes, leave your comments. I'm truly, and I'm not trying to make money off of it and all that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously there's ads and stuff, but I'm literally doing this because I see an opportunity to talk about Sly, and any opportunity we get, as I've been saying, you really have to take. There's nothing, I'm going to say it one more time because people do miss this part. And do I think people have made it to the 11-minute mark? Probably not, but you have to take these opportunities to talk about it because, again, what else are you supposed to do? People that say, oh, you're just reaching. Oh, you're making a video just kind of rambling. How else do you get Sly? How? You buy the Funko Pop. That's it. That's the only other thing you can do besides making, like in my power, I can make a YouTube video. Not a lot of people can do this. You know what I mean? And not like they're incapable of it, but like I can get views. I can get people talking about it. Not that that may even result in anything, but I do think it's important. I really do. I truly do. So let me know, guys. Maybe that part was unnecessary, but I'm keeping it in. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, again, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. This will probably be the last live video for a while, unless there's something, obviously, that pops out of nowhere, which I would love. I will be doing more Ratchet and Clank videos. Those will probably start tomorrow or Monday. I'll do a review. We'll talk about, future games, all that kind of stuff. So there will be videos on Ratchet and Clank. Subscribe, bell icon, hit the like button, subscribe to my second channel. Would much appreciate that as well, Podcast Now Plus. I hope to see you all on the next video.